Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Fans in Motion, the Ultimate Night Ranger podcast. That's one of those episodes, the news notes and minutia, and look who's joining me again. The I mean, he's more popular, I think, sometimes than the guys in the band. He's going to have his own writer soon. Joining me, Night Ranger tour manager Ed Ripepi. Ed, how you doing, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Which part am I news or am I minutia?
You're definitely not minutia, because you don't know shit about the band. Uh, but you are the news. I mean, I mean, you are the news, man. You
I
make
am
it.
the news. Okay.
So unless it's bad, then what is it? The fake news or whatever.
Right.
Busy day, uh, with me and Ed today. It's like we've been sharing text, back and forth, got a lot coming up, I guess we kind of do this a lot now. I just guess it's the older you get in life, the more life takes away. But two big passings in the rock and roll world, um, today. The first was Greg Kihn, um, a Bay Area guy. I know talking to Brad a little bit today. Brad said he'd known him for over 40 years, um, and I know that he had a big radio show in the 90s, and the guys were on there a lot. So Greg Kihn passed away. I think he was 75. I was never, he was a little bit before my time, so I don't know a lot about his career. A lot of people know I'm buddies with John Nyman from Y&T, and after he was in Y&T in the 80s and they broke up, I know John Nyman was in Greg's band for a while. And then a few hours later, we get the news that Jack Russell from Great White passed away. And I mean, everybody kind of knows he's had health issues, for the last 10 years or so. Again, Great White. Then they kind of separated, and he had Jack
Yep.
Russell's Great White. How many paths did your Night Ranger path cross with Jack Russell much?
Oh, good Lord. Yes, all the time. I mean, me, let's see. It'll be 5 years for me, 5.5 years for me. And I can probably tell you that I probably crossed paths with him at least 7 to 8 times.
Yeah.
Me alone.
Mm.
Just from Monsters of Rock cruise, rock and roll cruises, festivals. And he always, I mean, whether he was strong or weak, he was always like, get me up there. I want to see, I got to see these guys and I want to see Jack. And, Jack always made a point of taking care of him and making sure he was, taken care of. And, you know, um,
Yeah. I mean, and they
I
have a
think
history.
this one hit home a little bit for the guys.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, all of us who are fans of that, the 80s genre, I mean, Great White, holds a big place in that era. A few things that I just remember about Great White. One, being a kid in the 80s, I thought, though I maybe didn't own all their records, I just remember thinking those guys look cool, to where like some of the bands would be all glammed up. Like
Right.
they kind of looked like, they just had their jeans and leather jackets and stuff
Well, they
like
were
that.
so bluesy influenced,
Mhm.
even though
Yeah.
today they still are. I mean,
Mhm.
when I first came around the band, back when I met Jack and Michael at Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, you know, Michael just was so soulful and bluesy, you know what I mean?
Ding
And that's what,
ding ding ding
yeah.
ding 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 ding.
Inside joke. But yes, they uh they were more of they weren't the blazing guitars, they were like the bluesy guitar, you know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah. And except for
So
Lardy had a lot of hairspray during that time. But like I said, Kendall, I thought Mark Kendall had a cool look, this the
yeah,
shades and the hat.
yeah,
Um and then, I was in high school in the 90s, so it's all grunge. And
right.
I'm still a guy who loved those 80s bands. And I mean, I could count on my hand how many people liked those bands back then.
Hmm.
And, rock radio played all the grunge, but the one band that got play with a new song was Great White with a song called Sail Away. And it's kind of a dark, moody song, so it maybe kind of fits into that grunge. But I just remember,
Right.
wow, of all these 80s bands, Great White's getting radio play. And then my buddy was a big Great White fan, so like we would go see them. And I think when I initially talked to you earlier, I didn't even think of this, but I mean, Great White actually played a big part in my youth. Or right after school, we went and saw him July 11th, 1996 at the Newport Music Hall. And it was my first time seeing him. And I went with a couple buddies, and we go there, and it's your typical rock club, kind of like the Agora in Cleveland,
Hmm.
very
Okay.
similar. And I just remember sitting at the table. When we first there wasn't a lot of people there, but we sat at a table, and I remember seeing this girl, short dark hair, short black hair, and stuff like, man, she's cute. And then everybody goes down front for the band, and she happened to be standing right beside me. And we talked for a little bit and saw the concert. And after the show, everybody's out back trying to meet the band. And I'm talking to her. And I remember she gave me a piece of paper or something that had her phone number and name and said, call me. And, being a young guy, I was definitely dorkier back then. I had some girlfriends, but it was like, this is cool. This girl gave me her number and stuff. And, um, anyways, I called her and we dated, and my first ever apartment I got was with her. And so we lived together. And it was because we met at a Great White concert. And again, you kind of think of stuff too as in your youth where it used to be so easy, like, hey, let's go see a concert. Let's meet at my apartment and we'll have beers. Shit that you try to do now, but you're just too goddamn old and tired to want
Now
to
it's like
do.
I'll meet you for dinner and then we'll go and we'll leave before the encore.
Yeah, so I just remember, like, we don't have a lot of money. Me and her were living together. Great White was coming back. This is a couple years later. And my buddy who was at the concert with me and her friend who had been at the concert with her and my other buddy that we all met up at my apartment and we had some drinks and we all hopped in one car and drove to the Alrosa Villa and saw Great White. And after the show, we met him and hung out. And I remember me and her were talking to Jack and we're like, yeah, we met at one of your shows and now we live together. And I got a beer can signed by him. I don't know why I did, but it's one of those goofy things that I've had forever and it's just sitting up in my basement. I just saw it. But yeah, it's just like, so when you see that and you think, wow, fuck, man, you've had, it's kind of like they've kind of dictated your path in
Right.
life, and you just get to that point where, these greats are leaving us. He was only 63, but definitely they do have a uh some ties with Night Ranger. Great White opened for Night Ranger some on the Big Life tour along with Tesla. Um you had this record right here. If you are out there saying that there's no good music to find or whatever, and you don't know this record, I highly suggest you go get it. It was
Right.
released in 1999. John Claudner was putting together a new label called Portrait. Uh, it didn't do too well. I mean, this album was good. Rat released a record. Jack got back with Ted and Tommy and Michael Carnelloni and recorded a Damn Yankees record for this label, which none of them liked, and they threw it in the vault. Cinderella recorded a record
Wow.
and they didn't like it, and it got thrown in the vault. But anyways, Jack produced this record and wrote 6 songs on it. Uh, so that's one tie to Great White and Night Ranger, but definitely a very good record. Don Dokken, I think, co-wrote 3 or 4 songs on it as well. And then this record, this was actually before, but you got this record here, 1998, the album Seven. Jack Russell sings back up on a song called Kong. And talking to Kelly a little bit earlier today, we brought that up, and he's like, Kelly was just talking like, yeah, he just kind of came in and sang back up to it, and he just brought that song to a whole different level. So there's some of your ties and stuff. I thought maybe Jack sang on one of Jack's solo albums, but I'm not for sure. I don't think he did. But so there you go. We got
Right.
lost two big guys in the rock community. Um, as I've said many times before in this podcast, you know, you're no longer at the I will see them next time. Go see them now.
Mhm.
Stop bitching about set lists and all the other shit,
Oh my God. You just opened Pandora's box.
So just go see him, enjoy yourself, have fun. Because I mean, really, what do we got left? Maybe 7 to 10 years in a lot of these bands.
Enjoy every
Uh,
day, man. Have fun every day. It's just not
mhm.
worth it.
I just watched a documentary on Steve Martin. Very good documentary. I think it's on Apple Plus or whatever, one of the fucking things I got. Uh, and he was 75 when they were filming it. He just turned 79. It's just like shit. You know what I mean? Like, I just thought, it's going to hurt when he's gone because I mean, just so many great movies of my youth with Steve Martin. But anyways, so when did we last see each other, Ed? I think it was right around the middle of July. It was right after you guys played. Yeah, I think
Kettering,
you.
right?
Yeah, it was right. It was yeah, but right before Kettering, did you guys play a private show for Satan in Delaware? Delaware for Satan? Didn't you guys play in Hell? It was hotter than fuck in Delaware, the state.
I'm like, "Brr." Did we play it? What do we have? I don't even know.
Remember
We haven't
Delaware, the state of
Delaware.
Delaware.
Oh
It,
yes. Oh yes. We played in Selbyville.
there we go. It took a little while to get you on that fucking
You
path.
climb up that ladder, they won't go over my head.
I knew it was hot when I
God,
saw
it
the
was so hot.
photos,
Oh my
and
God.
Jack and Brad were in shorts.
And be like, oh, I can't believe they're in shorts. Motherfucker, it was hot as hell in there.
Well, I guess the new, like barometer will be if if Levy's in shorts.
Oof.
But
Love them,
yeah,
but that might be tough.
but I knew that when I saw photos, I'm like, whoa, you know, maybe Brad, because I mean, Brad will hit the stage, kind of like with Bret Michaels and stuff when it's not really their stage. He'll
Right.
come out in cargo shorts or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
But
Right.
uh, but Jack, I don't think I've ever seen Jack in
They were kind
shorts.
of rockish, though. They were almost like,
Oh no, no one gave a shit. I mean, you know, I
well,
don't think anybody did, but
yeah.
uh, I
I mean,
just know
I
that.
don't think people realize that you're hot in the audience, right? But on stage, it's black, it's hot, and then throw the lights on top of that, it's even hotter. And they're
Mhm.
moving around, and it's like I had ice baths before them, like on side stage, full of like literally ice and water, and they come off, and I'd be like, ring it, and I just you would they would just like get overwhelmed, and I here I am with this like ice towel, like here you go.
Yeah, I just like I said, saw that and it's like those guys. It has to be hot if, like I said, they're in shorts. And that was Eric Levy's 50th state. So that
Yeah,
was
he said, he
his.
goes, I played in every state now. And I was like, that's impressive. Don't
uh,
mind me. I'm answering an email right now from the band. They just got their logistics sent to them. So I'm just answering a question real quick. But so I keep looking over to that screen. So sorry to interrupt and not be I'm not trying to be rude. Yeah, so that it was hot. It was and what's really cool about that show was Pete Evick from Brett Michaels band.
mhm.
Pete's son Gavin opened up for us.
Yeah.
He's got
Yep.
a couple of good little singles out there, some poppy rock singles. It was enjoyable. I had a good time with him, and we had
He,
fun. And
I just saw maybe one of the Party Gras 2.0s or something like
yes,
that.
he can
I think.
play, and he just played in Vegas at Counts as well. We were
Okay.
talking about Count earlier today on the phone, but yeah, he just played there as well.
And then, I caught up with you guys in Louisville at the Palace Theater there. That was a little
Yes.
bit like again a time travel thing because one of my, I was a big Motley Crue fan, and when the Karabi record came out in '94, I was a big Motley Crue Karabi fan, and I had tickets to see them in Columbus, but I
Right.
got caught having a girl at my house when my parents weren't there, so my mom took away my tickets. So that was my
Ooh, you
punishment.
got in
I
trouble.
did, but I called Ticketmaster. I'm like, "Hey, is Motley Crue playing anywhere else?" And they're like, "Well, they're in Louisville, whatever date, August 2nd or something like that." And I was like, "Well, okay, I got two tickets." So, back then, driving to Louisville is like, you're Christopher Columbus with a goddamn map and following stars and shit. And, I don't know if this Dodge truck will make it, but we'll try.
Yeah, no doubt,
Just,
huh?
I just had enough money probably for gas to get there and back. And so, anyways, never hadn't been back here since, but that Night Ranger show is
Right.
almost 30 years to the day. So I was able to go find my seat and like, man, lots changed since then. And you kind of do a inventory on life and all that. But that Louisville show was great. Um, and then you guys played the phrase the next night in Kettering.
Right. And then
And
you were
I know,
there.
yeah, I know and
What a
uh,
great show that turned out to be. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Like it was packed, a lot of people there.
Well, that was the
Um,
show. I was on the phone with you and Brad, and Brad's like, we've never played there without, Rick Springfield or some other,
correct.
Yahoo. And I just told him, I go, you guys will be fine. You guys will be fine. And I'm glad that you guys were. Uh,
Yeah.
but definitely a great show. Like a lot of the screens and stuff. It just looks super big,
Yeah.
and I know the guys thought that was one of the best shows they'd had all year.
Yep.
And
It was just like it was a good atmosphere all the way around. I
mhm,
mean, it was just us. That was it.
yeah.
And they delivered. And then the people delivered. And it's just so nice. Look, I'm from Ohio, you're from Ohio, I get it, right? But like it's such a wheelhouse for us, this whole area, Ohio, Indiana, um, Wisconsin, you know what I mean? But it's a little different when you come to Ohio and you know what I mean? It's like
Mhm.
it was awesome. Like it was a cool setting all the way around.
It was a bit, for us, and the Night Ranger was kicking off that weekend. It was the next night was Richard Marx and Rick Springfield, and I think
Right,
the Sunday night was Wilson Phillips, and it was kind of neat. I've always, I was in the Air Force forever,
right.
and um, I've been to the Air Force Museum many times, but that day of show, me and Jack went over to
I was
the
saying, did anybody go with you?
Kelly was going to, but he wanted to rest up a little bit. So it was
Hmm.
just me and Jack. We um head over there and he's like, "Yeah, I got like an outfit from like one of the first flyers. He worked for the the Wright brothers and I forget what his name was, but we were able to find his name in the museum a few different times. And so Jack got to see most of the museum and anyways, great show and I know I can't remember exactly where you guys went right after that. You guys had a few days off, but like
Yeah.
Iowa, like oughta wherever Radar's from. Uh,
Atumwa.
yeah, that was a
Crazy.
pretty
17, 18,000 people. It was like it's a bike festival.
like a not like a vroom vroom bike, like pedal
No,
pedal
like
bike.
like a Velasano
Yeah,
style bike
yeah.
thing. They rode through the whole state of Iowa. Crazy.
So I know Brad said there was like three big shows in a row. There was the
Yeah.
Phrase, the Iowa, maybe like a Minnesota show right after
Then
that,
we
or
had so it was phrase. Then we had Atumwa, and then we did Managa, which was the Midwest Music Festival, which was very well attended, and us and Slaughter, um, some other bands on there. Liliac or Lilac,
yes,
Liliac,
yes, yes.
they were on.
They're from
Nice
Europe.
kids. We've met them before with they're usually on the Monsters of Rock cruise. I've seen
Yeah.
them before on that one.
Um, yeah, they're from Europe somewhere, and they're, I
Are they
think,
really?
yeah, pretty sure they're from,
I didn't know that.
yeah. I mean, I could be
Uh,
wrong. I mean, but I thought they were
yeah,
from Europe or something. I think they're all family, brothers, sisters, stuff like that.
got it. Yeah, they definitely are brothers and sisters. I know that.
Yeah. So had a few shows in what, Michigan? You had Nashville,
And then
Indiana.
then Sterling Heights, Michigan was the next day, after that, and there was 15 to 18,000 people there. I mean, that was like a big city festival,
Mm.
and it was awesome.
And then I know
Awesome.
Nashville, Indiana looked cool. I mean, um,
Yeah, I forgot. We played there after the symphony show.
yes,
That's where I met that bloke,
Mark.
Mark Greenway,
Yeah,
and
something about Nashville. I've missed out on both of those shows. But yes, that was after your um the
Sterling
symphony
Heights.
show.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly. Then,
my kid was sick, or after
hmm
my kid was sick, so I didn't go that time after the orchestra show. And then
right.
I was going to be at that show because you guys were playing Plymouth the uh the next night, and then unfortunately that show was canceled at the Speedway there in Plymouth,
hmm
Indiana. Send me a message if you had bought tickets for that show and you have not gotten your refund yet. We're kind of keeping a track on that.
Yeah, that was a cluster.
Um, I know some people have not gotten them yet, and we're hitting about the 2 week mark right now. So, yeah, if you have not gotten your refund or anything yet, send me a private message so we can just kind of. Where was you guys on the boat ride? That was in Delaware, right?
After Delaware, we spent a day off with the family friend.
I know you guys are Ill Levy just showing you guys living the life out there. Um, but
Bastard.
so yeah, there you go. There's then we're you guys where the hell were you guys just at? Um,
We were
why
just in Reno, Nevada, and
that's
Wheatland.
right. Um,
Two good
what
shows. That Reno, Nevada show was this hot August nights, and it was very well apropos because it was hot. But it's like one of the largest car shows in
mm,
America.
yeah,
Oh my God, the amount of cars, and I mean it was crazy. So yes,
yeah. I
good
know
time.
Angela was posting some of the cars. Brad sent me a couple, and
Yeah,
um,
they were insane, man. I
mm.
mean, just crazy.
so so now. I guess before we get much farther, well, we got some shows that are coming up that are on sale. I mean, we're kind of rounding out the rest of 2024. Uh,
Yep.
we've got now on sale this week, and so probably if you're listening to this, they're on sale right now. You have the November 22nd show in Chandler, Arizona. That's on sale. There's a December 7th show in Elkhart, Indiana. That's on sale. Um, Let me look here. I'm going to jump to October in the calendar because I think we'll talk about the upcoming, trip here, but I want to jump ahead to the rest of the year first. You got the two shows in Harris, Michigan, back to back in October. Those are already on sale. One show that has not gone on sale yet, Ed. I haven't seen anything, so I won't mention it unless you do. Um, you do have before I get there, you do have the November 7th, 8th, 9th, Rochester, Minnesota, Waukegan, Illinois to Genesee Theater. You guys are there a lot. Evansville, Indiana, Aiken Theater. I've never been to Evansville. I've been through it once. I might join you guys for that show. Um, but then you have Auburn, Washington, Toppenish, Washington, and Boise, Idaho. Um, And then you have these shows are the kind of the ones that are either just gone on sale or going on sale. November 21st, Anaheim, California, Chandler,
Right.
Arizona on the 22nd, and Prim, Nevada, the 23rd, the Star of the Desert. I would assume that's a casino, maybe?
That is, and the Star of the Desert is I think it's the name of the venue that we're playing at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then the shows that are going on sale, well, the Bloomington, Illinois, December 5th is already on sale. St. Louis, for December 6th, Friday. That's the one I was telling you about. It's already almost sold out.
Yep.
Um,
River
Elk,
City's Casino.
yep. Elkhart, Indiana. That's going on
Yep.
sale today, Friday. There's a pre-sale going on. People have been buying it on the page.
Right.
Then the one show that has not been announced yet, there's a show on the 12th. So I don't know if you want to talk about it.
I
But
mean, it's fine. They'll be in Orlando, Florida.
all
We'll just
right,
leave it at
so
that.
Orlando, Florida. So listen, the good time to go to Florida is in December 1. It's say December, it's Florida. But you're going to have Orlando on the 12th. Then you got two Brett Michaels shows on the 13th and
Yep.
14th.
13th and 14th, right?
Estero, Florida.
Yep.
And
Estero. So that's going to be near not well, Naples, but what's the other one there? Fort Myers.
Fort
And
Myers.
then Clearwater, Florida is, Clearwater,
Mm,
Tampa, all that area.
mm. Um, then Clearwater, Florida, the one after that.
Yep.
Then that rounds out 2024.
Did we talk about I'm sorry. Did you hit the Washington shows?
Yeah,
Okay.
the two Washingtons and
Boise.
the Idaho show. And then coming up, you're already there. If most of you know, Ed's sitting, he's not in his office, so we can't play What's in the Office, but Ed is in Hot Springs. Well, it's
It,
actually
it, it it is hot. It was hot today, 104 today.
it's only Springs, Arkansas, unless Ed's within the city limits, and then they call it
No, see,
Hot Springs.
I
But
didn't realize.
are you guys got swim trunks and everything? Going to the water park to play guitars and
I bet you that Eric Griffin, our modern engineer, is in the water park on Saturday.
there you go.
He's a
I don't
water
know.
kind of guy.
Don't know why the rest of you aren't, but
Yeah.
so you coming up Saturday the 17th. You
Right?
got Hot Springs, Arkansas, and then the very next night, you guys are going to the mighty metropolis of Brandon, Mississippi. City
Yep.
Hall Live.
Yeah.
You know,
Then then a day off in Chattanooga. Choo choo. Every time I
you
I
may not want
can't
to
think
tell
like
them you got a day
Chattanooga.
off there. People gonna
Yeah.
be searching you out. But yeah, then on the 20th, Chattanooga, Tennessee, at the Walker Theater. Uh, Never been to Chattanooga. I've always wanted
No.
to. The Reds have a minor league team there, but
Okay.
then you got
Branson,
it.
Missouri.
Branson, Missouri. Now, I'm a big country guy. I've never been to Branson, but you guys are playing the what retro? Is that the
Retromania, the mansion.
Retromania?
Mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, a
Pretty
lot of
good
different.
lineup.
I know, like, there's one group that definitely sticks out. Jesus Jones is playing
They're
90s.
opening the night out too. Isn't that some? What's that one?
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
I am. Yeah.
What I remember about them, remember the CD clubs where you get like, 10
I
CDs
still
for a
owe them
penny?
money.
Yeah, well, everybody does. But they got me one time. I forgot to mail in my thing. And so the CD of the month was Jesus Jones. So, back then when you only had 20 CDs and you listened to every one you had, I
Yeah.
suddenly was a
I'm trying to figure.
Jesus Jones fan.
Let me see where the lineup is. Let me get it up real quick
I
for you.
know I know it's like 3 or 4 days. I know Vince is down
Yeah.
there and um
Well, our day is let's see here. Where's it at? Branson. So we have Jesus Jones, Stephen Piercy, Lou Graham, and then us. Decent lineup.
yeah. Lou Graham, rock and roll royalty, should be in the
Yeah.
Hall of Fame. Um, which there's a lot of groups should be in there. But then I will be with you guys, Memphis, Tennessee, which is Friday the 23rd at Graceland.
And I always
So
think about when I'm walking in Memphis. Every time I write that city, when I'm walking in Memphis, even though
uh,
it's Elvis and not Marcone.
now you do know on the second Mark Cohn record, Jack and Tommy were on that.
Really?
Yeah, I think they
I
just
know
did
that
back.
now.
I think they did backup vocals or something. But hey man, you guys still got that Jack Blades in the band, man. That guy good, man. Man,
Oh, I'm preparing for that whole weekend of you being Elvis.
hey man, that Brad Gillis guy, man, he got that thing on his guitar, makes it go all weird and stuff, man.
Do
Man,
you
that
have your do you have your Elvis sunglasses with the
I got him right at.
fake
Well, I don't have. I don't have this. I don't have the fake sideburns because usually, I mean, if you look at a lot of younger photos of me, like in high school and stuff like that, it was the '90s, man.
With the pork chops?
I had
You had
big
the
ass
pork chops?
sideburns. Yeah. If when I graduated, and you had the gown and the cap, I had a '70s Elvis tie. I have a picture of it somewhere, but so yeah, I've always been,
I think I had
'70s.
a semi mullet back in the 80s. My 88 is my year.
Man, Ed, you look good with the mullet, man.
My
Uh,
wife was like, "You had a mullet?" I'm like, "Yep." And she's younger than me. She's like, "I for sure would have never dated you." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
I did. I mean,
I mean, it
uh,
wasn't like
well, I think just being
like
like being younger, I didn't know how to grow my hair long, and so what's the easiest way to do it? You just screw it long in the back, right?
well, shit. The damn Italian hair of mine, it would curl up like it'd go down and be like, "Brr," and and I went to Catholic school, so I couldn't have it past that. So not a big deal. But yeah,
Well,
it's side shit.
that's what we need. We need some young pictures of the Ed Ripepi.
I'll, 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 I'll bring some out.
Yeah. So we got Memphis, Graceland
Yep.
stage, and then after that, I mean, you guys are
Going to
really,
uncharted territories.
yeah. So
Montgomery, Alabama.
Alabama, and I think I've probably mentioned this on the podcast before. I have a contract, 84, I think, Night Ranger playing in either Mississippi or Alabama, one of those two states, like it matters. But in the contract, it still had language where it said they could not segregate the crowds. And if they did, the band had every right to cancel and keep the retainer and all that stuff. But even till 1984, they had to put language in there.
Right.
So and maybe I don't know. You have to let me know. Take a gander in there. Maybe it's still in there. Who knows? But then a big show that they do a very good job at is on Sunday. You
Hmm.
have Gatlinburg. Well, is it still Monsters of the Mountain
I
or?
think it's the Mountain Music Festival now.
All right. Well, I like Monsters of the Mountain. They're just
That
floating.
was pretty cool.
Uh, but they do a very good job there. Um, Great lineups. The
Yep.
venue is really nice.
At
Uh,
first I'm like, two stages side by side, but man, it works. They do a nice job.
yeah, I mean, I guess the one thing that would stink is, if you're front row, then you got to move over and maybe you lose your spot. I don't know how that all that works.
Right.
Because I'm bougie now, I got a backstage pass. But, but I don't know how the peasants are nowadays, my friend. But anyways, the venue is really nice. I mean, you're not like if you're in there and you want to walk around and get away from people, there's plenty of places to go. The merch area is huge, and usually had like a thing out in the parking lot where they had some artists coming out there and doing acoustic sets. So I was really impressed with it the first time I was out there. And then Wednesday, the 28th, kind of a hometown show for you,
Yep.
Canton,
Canton.
Ohio. Um, Home of the NFL Hall of Fame, the McKinley Tomb. So if you're going to Canton, you got the NFL Hall of Fame, you got the McKinley Tomb, very cool place. McKinley, what president would he have been? 22nd, 23rd, somewhere around there. Was
Hmm.
assassinated in Buffalo, New York. Uh, Teddy Roosevelt was the vice president. That's how he became president. And if you go there, it's a very cool place. Um, and where his tomb is,
25th president.
all right. See, I'm not too bad,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, it's pretty good. I wouldn't know that.
Well, I knew I was wrong when I said 22nd because I think Grover Cleveland is the 21st and the 23rd.
Hmm.
I could be wrong. Am I right? You got that thing up still? Because Chester A. Arthur, I think, is the 20th. And then I think you go Grover Cleveland 21, 23. And then you probably got
22nd and 24th.
okay. And then Rutherford B. Hayes is in there somewhere as well. Um, but
I'm better man than me at this.
anyways,
You are
if you
officially my Jeopardy lifeline.
if you go to the McKinley tomb, it's a big park and everything. But look at an aerial view. His tomb is actually the jewel in a sword. So if you imagine a sword and where the hilt would be, there'd be a jewel. That would be his tomb. And if you look at an aerial view, the
Hmm.
drive up to the tomb, that's the blade, and
Hmm.
then the park creates the handle.
Oh, wow,
And
nice.
so it's from the air, it's a sword, and his tomb is the jewel in the hilt of the sword.
Very cool.
So there
Very
you
cool.
go.
Mhm.
All right. So if you are at the Monster Show or going to be at the Graceland Show or the Canton Show, hit me up and I will let you buy me a beer.
Cool.
So
Done.
what do we need to talk about? We need to talk about this. It's already all over the page. I think it was in Nashville, Indiana. Night Ranger played Feliz Navidad, and Jack was not very discreet, and he said, "Hey, we're recording some of this because we already recorded it once, and we got to add a little bit to it. Is there anything you can add? You want to add, um,
Um,
or did we just leave it with what I said? Because what I said was what's already been
yes,
said.
yes, and yes. And they recorded it last year. They edited it. They needed a little something, something. And
Just hey, be on the
it's
lookout.
going to be something fun. Everybody's asking for something different, something new, something fun. And, the guys always say, as long as it's fun, we're out here and having fun. And that's what we need to do. So that's their that creative juices going. And I'm not sure where it's going, but I know that they recorded something.
Well, there you go. Most, like I said, not really new news, but uh, something to look forward to down the road.
I can tell you when you hear the final product, it's cool as shit. Like, what I mean? It really is. They did a nice job.
Because I know someone went live, or you sent me a live video and I posted it of them playing it last.
It wasn't me. I knew better. Somebody
I'm
else.
pretty sure it
Wait,
was you.
wait, when they recorded it, or
No, 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 no. Playing it live. They played it live last December in Minnesota or
yes,
some
yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was in one of the Dakotas, North Dakota.
And I would also tell you for new music, I can't really give you, anything, right? But I can say the Brad Gillis, some new music with some people from the past, his past. So just kind of there's something in the works. I mean,
I don't even know
it's
about this.
so there's
Yeah.
that and me and Levy got a little bit of something going, which I'll throw out here sometime soon. Not really music, but something fun. Uh, ATBPO 3-year anniversary was just recently. I don't know what date, but yeah, just
I remember
like
videotaping the two videos for that thing, man, in the desert, the
yeah,
Salton Sea.
that was right when I first started like taking over
Literally,
the
because I remember on the bus ride there, Eric was like, "Hey, I talked to Josh from the podcast," and everybody's like, "Who?" And Ed, can you go on? And and that's where it started, man.
yeah.
3 years now? No, 3 years?
Well, it's more than 3 years because we got together. Well, I guess it wouldn't have been the release.
Well, three
It
years
would
for the anniversary of the release
the
of the
release
album,
was
but it was
August.
definitely, yeah, because
We
it was February when we filmed that.
So I went down and saw you guys in May of 21 in Houston.
Right,
And it was at the end of the month because when I went and saw you guys in Houston, I was just doing Kelly's socials.
right,
I wasn't doing Night Rangers at the time. And at the end of the month, they wanted me to do Night Ranger. And the thing that kicked it all off was ATBPO
right.
stuff. So,
Well, I
we,
remember, I remember that first day you came to a show, and you're like, "Holy shit! What does it take to get the show off?" And I remember something happened, and I went flying out the door, and you're like, John Belushi and Animal House, like, "What do I do? What do I do? What do I do?"
well, I mean, I guess looking back at it now, like you have that heightened sense of awareness, right? Like, I'm in this new environment. It's a high stress environment, right? Uh, and I don't know anybody, and all I see is you're the only person I know, and you take off running with this, not like an oh shit look, but like a determination look, like something just happened. And to where I'm like, all right, is it something I need to go with him? And like, like I guess,
Okay.
you always think the worst, like is someone jumping on stage, is
Right.
there something
It was
crazy?
pre-show. Wasn't it pre-show or no?
No,
Was
it
it
was during the show.
during
Show
the
had already
show?
started.
Yeah.
Um, I think maybe not. I mean, I can't say for sure, but I thought you might be right because maybe Carl was still back there, in that one room. But either way, yeah, I remember that. But yeah, um, but yeah, 3 years ago. Um, what else? Gary Moon celebrated a birthday. One-time Night Ranger member. So if you're out there, give him a happy birthday. Buckeye as well, born in Fairborn, not too far from Kettering. That's where
Nice.
he grew up, right there at the Air Force Base. I posted always social media is so crazy. It's hard to get anything promoted on the socials unless you're pumping money into it. But
Right.
I posted and this is funny, like, I'll post, the video for Sing Me Away from 1982, or I'll post a live, something from here or there. But so last week I posted a 1 minute clip of When You Close Your Eyes from the home video of 1985 when they, you know, recorded a
Hmm.
live concert from the Seven Wishes tour. So I posted it a week ago. It's got 250,000 views. It's by far just going fucking nuts. So
Really?
yeah, it was averaging for a while. It was averaging like 5,000 views an hour when it was at full steam. 5,000 people were watching.
Wow.
So it just hit 250,000 views. So it's not the best I've had, but it's definitely up there. Eddie Trunk celebrated his 60th birthday.
Yep.
Um, what else? Michael Cardelloni. Have you ever met Michael Cardelloni from Damn
One
Yankees?
time.
Uh, he used to be on social media, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. And then he got hacked. Someone took it over and, whatever. But he had a really good social media page. He did a lot of good history stuff.
Right.
And he, grew up in Cleveland, so he had a lot of
Yeah.
Cleveland stuff.
A lot of my friends know him very well. A lot of my musician friends in Cleveland know him really well.
But he is back on Instagram. And um, he sent Jack a message. So I had to, I sent Jack a screenshot and I told him, hey, he messaged him back, said, hey, this is a social media manager. I forwarded your stuff to Jack, and just kind of letting him know
Mhm.
that, Jack doesn't really check the messages, and, don't be, talking about, all the blow and everything from 1991 or whatever. Uh, but he does really good history. And he posted this. Um, and of course, you're not going to be able to see it too much, but see that building? That's in Columbus Circle in New York City. And see that
Okay.
arrow?
Yep.
He's pointing to that window. He said, that is where Damn Yankees was born. That was Tommy Shaw's apartment. And that's where me, Jack, and Ted and Tommy first played in 1988 or whatever.
Oh, wow.
And it's just crazy because that's right there on the corner of Central Park. So it would be the southwest corner, Columbus Circle, just right down from like the Trump Tower,
Right.
where
Is
the
that where
toy,
Strawberry Field? Is that where, I mean, not
uh,
Strawberry Field, but
I think the toy store is right near there,
that where
Swartz.
Lennon was shot in that area?
It's farther north, Dakota.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know how much farther north,
Right.
but I
Okay.
think it's on the same side. I mean, don't quote me on
Right.
that. But
Right.
anyways, it's right there. It's a famous circle. It's if
Hmm.
you've ever been there and you've been to like where Letterman was, go up two
Right.
blocks and you're right there.
Okay. I know,
And
yeah.
um but yeah, it's like wow, I've fucking passed there 100 times. And Oh shit, right there. Which leads me to believe, like, man, Tommy, even in 1988, being out of sticks for a while and having some, solo albums that kind of stunk, he was still doing pretty good. Um,
Mhm.
but so anyways, I did talk to Michael a little bit more. I'm like, hey, what, because he like I shared a couple of his things on Jack's page, and he's like, man, you're really pumping my numbers up. And I kind of told him like, oh, you post good damn Yankee stuff. I'll share it as much as I can and
Mhm.
um stuff like that. But I asked him like, do you still have Facebook? What do you got? As I don't want to promote something you don't have.
Right.
And he's like, right now it's just Instagram. So go to Michael Cardone on Instagram. He's a
Oh,
good guy to follow. Always has some good
I'll
posts.
have to do
For
that.
the, and for those that don't know, he's the drummer in Leonard Skinner. Probably been drumming for Leonard Skinner for 20 years now.
Yeah, at least.
Um, definitely at least. And technically, Leonard Skinner has two members of Damn Yankees. Damon Johnson from Brother Kane is the new guitarist in Leonard Skinner, and he was brought in for that unreleased third album that Damn Yankees recorded in 1999, early 2000. So he was, and there was even a photo shoot with Damon Johnson. So there's a photo out there of Jack, Tommy, Ted, and Damon together. And that album was ready to be released, and they pulled it. But anyways, two members, Damn Yankees, Leonard Skinner. There you go. Ed. Now,
Yo,
Ed, we can't really get into a lot of like, I can't go, hey Ed, that deep track on Big Life, man. And, does that get your nipples hard? Because you don't know shit. But there is a deep track uh that I know you
I
brought up.
know a lot though, Josh. I know a lot.
You said that, what? I've been listening to that song. I'm really liking it. What's that song? You know what song I'm talking about?
Interstate Love Affair.
There we go. So
I was like, that's kind of hooky, you know?
I remember saying something like I always thought that would be, and it's a song they never played live.
Right.
Now technically I shouldn't say that because they
They
did.
attempted to do it at a sound check, and then
Well, they they
I got the look.
well they did it on stage somewhere. I can't remember if I was there or not, but they did it in front of a crowd.
You didn't. I said it to you.
No, no, no.
Um,
They did it. I was at the show. They attempted it in front of a crowd. Now,
oh, that I remember. Was I
when
with them?
you were with them, it was after the sound check. It was either that show or something
Hmm.
soon after.
Okay.
Because what was funny, well, now you brought that up, that was in Marietta, and I love the city of Marietta in Ohio. And I was telling somebody, it's like, yeah, sound check was getting ready to start, and so I was like, I'm gonna go take a walk, and like I said that, and they're like, would you ever have thought that you would just be like, Night Ranger sound check, ho hum, I'm gonna go get out of here. But anyways, the one sound check, I guess I go ho hum and get out. I'm walking around the city enjoying the nice summer, and then I get a text from Ed, and it's Interstate Love Affair. I'm like, motherfucker. And um, but but yeah, but yeah, I just remember you bringing it up when we were in Kettering or whatever,
Right.
and there's two versions. I have to send you the other version. There's a version. Um, I don't know if grittier is the right word, but it's so that song was originally released in October of '84 on the Teacher soundtrack.
Mhm.
Teacher soundtrack. Then they put it on Seven Wishes, but they did a new version of it. So it's I mean it's somewhat similar, but there's a lot of differences in it. The guitars are a little bit bigger, it's a little bit rougher, whatever.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
all right. So Ed, I don't know if I got anything. What do I got here?
Yeah,
Oh
new.
hell.
Trying to think what I got here, and it's have.
So
I don't know. Get stickers?
you want to show 'em?
Yeah, sure.
Well, no, no, I don't have them. Remember, mine got. I think they got swiped. Remember?
Okay. I don't have any
Uh,
here. I'm trying to think if I have anything.
well,
I have,
okay. So the people will know if you follow Jack and Brad and Kelly, um, so my buddy Masa, he does the new what do we got right here? Look, bam. So this Masahama, he did this.
hot off the presses. Order yours now.
Yep, yep. I got a few left. I think I'm low on a couple sizes, maybe medium or something like that. Um, but and then he did the logos for the individual members. So you got the Jack Blades, the Brad Gillis, and the Kelly Kagi. Um, and we've got stickers for them where they throw out a very limited amount at every show. So, listen, man, if you see Jack throwing out one of his personal stickers and you see grandma getting ready to catch it, you know, she's got weak knees, kick her in the knees. Um, so something new I got, or I don't know if it's how new, and I still got to listen to it to see if there's anything different, but we got a promo copy
Wow.
of Dawn Patrol on
Where'd you get that at?
cassette. Um, I mean, it's got to be eBay. That's where I get most of my stuff, I would
Right,
assume.
right.
Um, but it's kind of got this cool, not for sale, promotional
Wow.
only, it's
That's
boardwalk.
crazy.
So I'm gonna listen to it. I gotta listen to it, see if there's any different mixes or anything like that. But
Fell off the truck.
yeah, but I got that. What else is kind of
Yeah,
new?
what's Josh got?
Look at this. So here is the Explorer soundtrack on cassette. So this had a young, maybe River Phoenix and Ethan Hawke in it.
Mhm.
And it had a song by Robert Palmer on there and a band called Red Seven. But This Boy Needs to Rock by Night Ranger was on
Wow.
there. And what's different about this is now some of these Canadian versions on the cassette, they have like this back sleeve.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you can see that, but
Right?
so it goes over the back. And most of the Canadian cassettes are like a jet black.
It looks cool.
But what's cool about this is Night Ranger, again, my nerdum, Night Ranger's listed on the front.
Right,
To where on most of the other cassettes, the American versions, it's just
right.
this. Saw that, and it wasn't anything crazy. It's like that's kind of different and cool. To where it's got Night Ranger actually listed on the actual
Hmm.
cover. Um, so we got here. We probably shown this before. If not, here is an advertisement for Neverland coming out in Japan.
Hmm. Wow, look at
So,
those guys. So
um,
fun.
so Neverland came out like 6 months before it did in the United States. So like late December of 96, early 97 maybe is when Neverland um came out in Japan. And you had an EP that came out the New York Times before. So anyways, just look at all them guys young and we thought they were
Wow.
old then.
Yeah, no shit.
Surprised
Crazy.
that this exists. I mean, yes, I just figured most things by 1985 would be at least cartridge. Now we're talking radio. So 85, you're still probably vinyl in the radio stations. Someone will correct me if I'm not. But this,
85. I mean, that's the start of CDs, though, wasn't it?
yeah, but I don't think they would have been mass produced and efficient enough to be able, to be your radio stations to be CD driven. I don't know if they were ever cassette driven. So, someone's going to have to.
So, Eliminator was my first ZZ Top
No, well,
CD, right? No,
I'm not
Stages. Hold on. Oh, okay. I was gonna say
I'm not
my
saying
first my
CDs weren't around. I'm just
no,
saying
it
for
wasn't more yet. Hold on. Stages was my first ZZ Top 85. So
well, I'm
CDs were starting to come out in 80, probably 80, 45.
correct. But I just don't think radio stations were using them
Right.
at the
The
time.
technology wasn't there for them, you mean?
Well, I don't think it would have been cost efficient, really. I think vinyl would still been your way to go. Um, but I think most of your advertisements were like cartridges, like 8 tracks, kind of. like a big ass cartridge. So I'm a little
Right.
surprised this exists. So here is Night Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
4 in the Morning, Goodbye, Sentimental Street, revised November 12th, 1985. It's a radio spot,
Okay.
reel to reel.
Wow.
So this is the end of 86.
I have one of those that you could play it on at home at my house.
You know what? I have two. I'm not sure if either of them works, so I may have to bring
Yeah.
this with me and we'll have
Yeah.
to mess with
Check it
it.
out.
Um, but yeah, I've never seen this. Not that it's worth anything, but it was kind of neat and it wasn't much. Uh, but I would assume it's an unaired. Well, I mean, when I say unaired, there's no recording of it out there right now that you can go listen to
Right.
of them saying, "Hey, there's 4 singles you can go get off of our." The record already been out for 6 months, so this is them probably gearing up Goodbye because Goodbye was the last single. Seminole Street and 4 in the Morning had already been released, so there you
Hmm.
go.
Very cool.
So
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, I got my road gear with me right now, so I got nothing. I mean, I got
yeah.
some technical shit. That's about it. Looking, yeah, I got nothing, man.
Well,
Nothing that'll tickle anybody's fancy.
let's wrap this up. We'll talk a little bit about
Yep,
the Fans in Motion peeps. I heard you got to meet Melissa Gong and her sentiment
I
or
did.
her
And
seven
brought
wishes.
her. Those pants were killer, man. I'm like, you fit in those? Man.
So for those that don't know, Melissa Gong is someone who's been on the page forever. I had her on the podcast. I don't know what episode, but anyways, super fan, was out, lived out in the Bay Area. So she went to all the shows. They had a video shoot for the Big Life song Hearts Away at Berkeley Theater or some shit. And so they're there the whole day. And so in between, the kill time, they had a giveaway. And they gave away Brad's Bumblebee
Right,
tank top shirt. The
right,
pants are at the Hard Rock in Tokyo.
right.
But they gave away the shirt and they gave away Jack's turquoise and black pants that he wore in like the videos and he wore on that whole summer tour.
Hmm.
So anything you Google Jack Blade's Seven Wishes, anything live, you'll see him mostly in the turquoise and black, and he had a white and black. Anyways, uh, we got her hooked up to go back there and meet Jack, and we got this pic of her, Jack trying to grab him back from her. Um,
Yeah.
so good
Well, you know what?
times.
You know what's crazy is Jack told a story that day, last week in Wheatland, and he used to take a marker and fill in the little designs that would go fading,
Yeah,
and it was funny as shit. So I was like, "Are you kidding me?" He's like, "No, you didn't do back then."
yeah,
And so yeah, he was telling a story about those, and I was like, "That is crazy." So
yeah.
yeah,
It was cool that he remembered
yep,
and when she won them, she was she was able to put them on,
yeah, right,
and so she has photos from the day she won them, wearing them with Jack. So,
nice,
so she's got that, and now
yeah,
she has this um older photo. And then Michelle Hughes, I think that's how you pronounce her last name. If not, I apologize, but she posted today. I mean, so I know with you guys and management and stuff, I always kind of preach about Seven Wishes, like I though Midnight Madness and Dawn Patrol are those two stalwart albums, you know, I mean, Seven Wishes rolled MTV, and every Seven Wishes sold more than those two records, and Seven Wishes was the album where everybody went and bought because now they were fans and everybody saw them on that tour. So the Seven Wishes tour was a big deal for a lot of Night Ranger fans. And Michelle posted this today. She's like, the date was August 15th, 1985. I was sitting in row P, stage left at Pine Knob Music Theater, waiting to experience my first concert. Taxi, do you remember Taxi?
Yep.
At least I think that was the name of the band, was opening band, and I couldn't wait for my most favorite band to take the stage, Night Ranger, of course. As I waited patiently, suddenly the lights went up, and there was a huge genie lantern in the middle of the stage, and a strike of lightning, and an arm jutted out of the lantern top. And I started to scream and cry because I knew that that arm belonged to Mr. Jack Blades. I was on my feet and singing the whole night. Oh, what an amazing concert it was. I had the best time of my teenage life. If there was photographic proof, I'd share it. Thanks for letting me share this moment in time. And I think, that speaks to a lot of people who saw that big summer tour. I mean, that was Night Ranger at their zenith.
Right.
Um, and then there was another one. Uh, there was I don't know if I got Colin Koshnick, Kosh Koshik. I don't know. Colin, you gotta change your last name, be a rock star, man. Um, but a classmate posted this old album review I wrote of Seven Wishes was released. So I think it was like a school newspaper, and he wrote a review in the
Wow.
school
Nice.
newspaper, and you know touched on every song. So it was kind of cool just seeing again Seven Wishes. I mean, that became everybody's record because Midnight Madness, not a lot of people were fans when that first came out. I mean, yeah, you had
Right.
some. And then Sister Christian, everybody starts
Right.
to become aware of them. And then Seven Wishes is your album you first go out. And we,
Speaking of Sister Christian, well, here, finish your thought and I'll tell you.
no, you go with this. I want to end on,
So I'm last week we're in um Reno, and I had to go to Guitar Center to pick up a chord or something like that real quick. So I went, I had time, so I went with a runner. And Darren, our guitar tech, had pre-called it in and said, this, that, and the other. And the guy's like, "What band you with?" And now this kid was either maybe conceived to Sister Christian or, he was young. And
now
I'm like,
you
Night
know it.
Ranger.
Now you know if he was conceived of Sister Christian, he's 40.
Okay, he wasn't 40, but his parents could have liked Sister Christian and, whatever.
Uh,
Anyways, so the older guy, like just a sales associate, was like, "Night Ranger, are you shitting me?" Like that kind of thing. And the kid's like, "Who are they?" And I'm like, "Deep, deep, deep. Oh my God, I know that song." So it's so funny to hear, like, "Trust me, you've heard them. Trust me, you know who they are, and maybe you were conceived to that song." you know.
yeah.
So it was funny.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
getting a lot of that. I mean, too bad Air didn't have the traction it could have had, the movie, but I still go back to that day we played Ashley the Arts with Cole Swindell and Brooks and Dunn to
mhm,
watch 18-year-old girls in cowboy hats singing away to half our songs. I was like, well, let's go. We'll go out on a country tour with the band, be a
mhm.
heritage rock band with a heritage country band. Why not?
I
So,
mean, it's funny. I mean, I think like though it's not really that, I guess, different. Like Train and REO Speedwagon.
mhm,
I think a lot of people, if you would have said that, they would like, that's not really two bands I would fit together. But that's the one thing I always loved about, you see these 70s festival lineups, and it would be, you know,
right,
Rory Gallagher, The Outlaws, Aerosmith, three bands
right.
from kind of like, the blues and
Yeah.
southern rock and, your hard rock. And I just wish, I mean, you know, could you
No, I get
do
it.
it, a Brooks and Dunn, Night Ranger, and, something else,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think it
Yeah.
it could work.
It'd be great.
But
Be great.
I'm going to end it with this,
All right, buddy.
Mr.
What do you get?
John Juanito Davy.
Oh God.
Sunday evening pre-show to Hard Rock Live, Sacramento, Ohio's favorite son. He trademarked that. So you're now Ohio's favorite son. Ed Ripepi met me in the front of the stage to sign my Danny Ripepi Memorial Concert shirt. Ed's a busy fellow. Apparently not, because he had time to go with the runner. But took time not only to sign my shirt, but to pull me backstage where the crew was prepping for the show, including Brad in the rehearsal room, to put pen in his signature to my shirt. Ed's not only the man that makes the Night Ranger tour machine run, but is also generous to a fault and is truly a friend to all fans in motion. Look at
You
this
could have been a
skinny.
better. You
Look at
could have been a
this.
better picture.
Look at this skinny ass fuck.
I know I'm losing weight, man.
I
It's
know,
great.
man. Jesus Christ. You lose any more weight, you'll be in Schindler's List too.
God, you've got to be kidding me.
I barely see you there, man.
No. Um, yeah, no, it was a good time. I mean, he had reached out to me God eons ago, when we were in Tahoe, and I didn't want to bother you. I'm like, ah, shit. But he could have put a better picture there for me, but oh well. It is what it is. I signed it. You should have seen the guys in the crew. They're like, really? Hey,
Yeah.
what do you want me to do?
What's funny is the not only now do you have, Jack and Brad and the guys. I don't know if I like that pick. I don't know if I like that pick. We can add old rock star Ed Repepi, Ohio's favorite son, to that list. I don't like the lighting. I don't like looking at. You're just right there with the principals now.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Good
So
talking to you.
yeah,
We'll see you
yes.
next week.
Yep. So there you guys go. Listen, follow Fans in Motion. Go to the Facebook page. That's where everything happens. Type in Night Ranger Fans in Motion. Click join. If you have questionable character, I will probably accept you. Go to Instagram, Threads, Twitter, X, whatever the hell it's called. Go there. Ed, what? What's your you Ed's?
I got one. I got one for you. This is totally gonna blow your mind. Is this gonna play before Memphis?
This is gonna play tomorrow,
Oh, well,
Friday.
shit.
Man, I'm turning and burning, man.
Let's have fun in Memphis. We're gonna leave something somewhere,
Oh, a set list signed.
and you bring it to Josh. You find it, and you bring
Ooh,
it to Josh, and something special
yeah,
will
man.
happen.
It's going. Okay, so when you're in Memphis, you got to look under all the seats for the peanut butter and banana sandwich.
No, don't do that. But just look for something in Memphis somewhere.
All right. We'll we'll
Um,
we'll put we'll put more
we'll figure something
details
together.
on the page, man.
Yeah.
Man, and when you bring it to me, man, you got to be
No.
talking like this. Man, I don't want anybody talking in regular voice, man. We all talk like Elvis when we're in Memphis, man. Man, we got crystals on the
Stop.
ride.
I'm not gonna be able to put up with this.
Man, we got to have some crystals, man.
All right, so what are we gonna leave?
What I mean,
We gotta leave something for somebody. They gotta bring it to you, and then they'll get something special.
I'll tell you what I'm not leaving, man. My peanut butter and banana sandwich, man. It's gonna be my belly.
Okay.
So I don't know. We could what if we do something? Well, this is all tentative, but what if we maybe
We can have
get
fun.
maybe the night before, or something, we get a set list signed, and maybe I will put it somewhere within the venue or outside the venue at a nearby park.
Right?
Um, I'll be like, hey, go down. There's
We
this,
physically won't put it in Graceland. Put it that way.
yeah,
It
there's a
won't
lit.
be in the house.
All right. So go over there to the corner of 8th. There's a lady there, all right, standing. Uh, you
We
know,
take like all shook up off the wall. We put up something else from night.
yeah, we'll be fucking with people. Yeah. So go in Grayson. You're going to see this area blocked off, but it's okay. Go past it. You might hear alarms, but there is something back there for you. We guarantee it.
Yeah.
But Night
Yeah,
Ranger.
let's do something fun like that. You know what I mean?
All right.
Like we'll put something out there.
Yeah. So
Coming.
listen.
Maybe people should say who's coming to Memphis at least.
Hmm?
Maybe people should tell us on the page who's coming to Memphis.
Yeah, if you're walking to Memphis, let us
I mean,
know. Walking
you
in
know,
Memphis. But we'll come up with something, and we'll start having some
yeah.
fun out there. I know Kelly's been wanting to do stuff like that too. Um, and but yeah, but to do this, you've got to follow You know what? You've got to be a member of the Fans of Motion page. You got to subscribe to the YouTube page. You know, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube page, then I'm not going to let you enter this contest.
Yes,
That's my
exactly. You
rule.
got to prove it. You got to prove it to
Yeah,
Josh.
there you go. But anyways, follow all the shit.
Yep.
Ed, thank you for joining
Good
me.
talking to you, Josh.
If
See you
you're
next
at these
week.
shows coming up, track us down. All right, brother. I
All
will
right, buddy.
talk
Have a good
at you
night. Be safe,
later.
everybody.